Welcome to Photo Academy lesson number 5, Focus Your Way to Sharper Photos. In today's lesson, we will be going over the one part of creating a photo that everyone takes for granted, focus. It seems many people don't pay enough attention to it, which is probably why we see so many out of focus images on the web. There are a few different components that make up a focusing system in your camera, plus you need to remember that aperture affects how much the image is acceptably sharp. We'll go over each of those components and help you to create sharper photos. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends. If you have any questions about any topics, feel free to comment. We'll do our best to answer them in a timely manner. Let's understand how autofocus systems work. They need an area of contrasting colors to lock onto. A solid color sweater with consistent brightness probably isn't going to be a good place to lock on. The human face is usually a good location like the eyes or the mouth. Diffuse light gradations like on this egg are usually not a good choice either. Dark or shadow areas of an image are not usually good choices to accurately focus on. Look for brightly lit areas with contrasting colors. And a final tip, it's usually easier for your camera to lock onto objects that are not moving, especially in low light situations. The first step in shooting sharp photos is your autofocus mode. On most cameras, there are 3 settings: manual, single, and continuous. Canon has 4: manual, AI single, AI focus, and AI servo. Canon's AI single and servo are the same as Nikon single and continuous, and they add the AI focus mode, which is a hybrid of the other 2. In manual mode, you must use the focus setting on the lens to adjust focus. Simple, right? The next one on a single, it allows the camera to lock onto the subject and then stop adjusting the focus once it has locked on. Most cameras won't allow the shutter to release until the focus is locked. The last mode is continuous. As you might have guessed, it continually changes focus points and attempts to lock onto any subject until you depress the shutter all of the way. Let's talk about making the camera focus. Personally, I can't live without shutter actuated focus, which is the default. When you depress the shutter down halfway, the autofocus motor will start. Some people prefer to use back button focus, which I think is a mistake. When you have to push the back button with your thumb, you can't move the focus points, which is our next segment. It can work fine for shooting video, but I've never found a good scenario to use it when shooting still photos because you cannot move the focus point and keep the focus motor running at the same time. Using the shutter actuated focus, you can do both simultaneously, allowing for quicker focus lock if needed. The next piece of autofocus puzzle is what Nikon calls AF area mode. This is the most important setting when it comes to focus. Many people that I've taught don't even know that it exists. This mode has a few settings. The first one allows the camera to guess where the most important part of the image and sets that focus point. This rarely goes well and is hardly ever accurate. We suggest only using this mode when you hand someone else your camera to take a group photo with you in it. The mode you should use most of the time is what Nikon calls single point AF. This setting will allow you to choose a focus with pinpoint accuracy, especially when you turn on all of the focus points your camera has built in. Not sure why, but many bodies from the factory only turn on a small portion of its focus points. We highly suggest using all of them. Once you turn on a single point AF, you will be able to move the points around inside of your viewfinder with your multi-selector or wheel on the back of the camera with your thumb. With some practice, this will become second nature. This mode is great for many scenarios, especially portraits. We'll go over using those modes in a bit. One more mode that Nikon has is called Dynamic Area AF. This mode is similar to the single point we just talked about, but the camera will also read information from the focus points surrounding the one you chose to lock on. I will often use this mode for sports or fast-moving subjects when a solid lock can be difficult. So now we know the different components of the autofocus system in your camera. How do we use them? Single AF mode and single point AF should be used for portraits, landscapes, products, or pretty much anything that is sitting still in the camera viewfinder. We can use continuous mode with dynamic area AF for sports, birds, animals, or moving subjects, even the kids in the yard. Dynamic area AF is also good for low light conditions. Manual autofocus mode is great when you are working in very low light conditions and the camera can't autofocus on your desired point if it's out of the range of the focus points inside of the viewfinder. Every photographer has heard of this technique, focus and recompose. We don't recommend it, especially when shooting a shallow depth of field. Since the plane of focus moves with your camera, a shallow depth of field can send important subjects in the frame out of focus. Always try to use a focus point in the viewfinder first, but if your point of focus is outside of the focus point range, try manual focus. Remembering that your plane of focus is parallel to the camera and will go a long way to sharper images. Let's talk about your homework. Go through your older images, zooming in to at least 100% and find the sharpest point in your image. Is it where you intended? Hopefully it is. If not, spend some more time practicing with your camera. Read your camera's manual to find out how to move the focus points, change the area modes, and autofocus mode. Shoot with each of your lenses and compare the accuracy of it and speed of your autofocus system with your camera. You will notice more expensive lenses focus faster, so will shorter lenses. Make sure to watch our next Photo Academy lesson, Controlling Aperture. Keep shooting.